You're listening to a Cult Talk Network podcast.
Does this smell like heresy in here?
Welcome, brothers. Thanks to the Emperor's goodwill, I have a new test subject for us.
Are we sure this isn't a heresy?
Glory be to the Omnissiah. I have been so bored without something new to study.
This feels like a heresy.
I call it Spot.
Sweet, merciful machine god.
Yep, that's a heresy.
Aww. Oh, shit. It's Cultober.
Oh boy.
Here we are. Hot damn. It took forever, but we're finally here.
Yeah. Boy, I'll tell you what, that was overwhelming, but not as overwhelming as learning about this subject has been.
That's right. So, as always, guys, welcome to another episode of Call to Lore. I'm Ben.
I'm Eric.
And I'm Jerry.
And this is the Daemonculaba episode. This is the episode that is... So, Wes Warhammer, which is a channel I recommend you guys check out. His stuff is good. He's funny. He seems like a really nice guy. Suck. Anyway, yeah, absolutely. But he said that doing this episode is almost like a rite of passage for a Warhammer channel.
Oh,
and
really?
I have to agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody always, before they do the episode, they always mention it in other episodes, and it's always with this kind of shudder and a gasp, and then they do the episode. And so this is ours.
Okay. That is very much how I felt in the lead up to this. I didn't, that makes sense.
I fully regret being here.
I believe it.
Yeah. Is it trigger warning for this one?
We don't do those.
No? Okay. Even
no,
for that. All
no.
right. Just buckle up.
Get fucked.
Yeah.
No, I don't. Trigger warnings are for pussies. So the Daemonculaba. Eric, you had known about it before we decided to study.
Yes. When you told me that we were going to do it, I went, oh.
Yep. Jerry, my friend, you had no idea.
I had no I like you had said, I just heard everyone, whenever they're like, the Daemonculaba, and then they're like, I don't want to talk about that.
Right.
And that was it for you, huh?
And I was like, oh, okay, must be pretty terrible.
Yeah.
And it is, isn't it?
Yeah. I just, why did you guys do this to me?
I'm not sure, buddy. I'm so sorry.
So the very, 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 50,000 foot overview of the Daemonculaba is it is a human being that through science and magic is now able to create chaos space marines. It is how the Iron Warriors, or at least one faction of the Iron Warriors, came up with their way of replenishing their ranks.
Yeah. That's all we need to say, right? We can stop now.
Yeah, that's good. Right?
No, unfortunately not.
Oh boy.
So the thing about the Daemonculaba, or the Daemonculaba, as they pronounce it in the book, everybody seems to have kind of their own little twist on it.
Yeah.
It itself is horrifying, but the support structure around it is just as horrifying.
Yeah.
Because it's not just the matter of the creature, we'll say, itself being horrifying, which it is.
Hey guys, Future Eric here. Cutting in real quick to do a little patchwork. We had some technical difficulties recording this episode. We were going through the Eye of Terror, and there's a lot of turbulence coming off the warp and all that. So we lost just a little bit here, and then some toward the end. I'm going to complete Ben's thought here for you. He's talking about how horrifying it all of the different steps that lead to the daemonculaba are. It creates kind of what he called a hellish circus. So just wanted to get that thought in there. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Promise it won't be too much of an interruption. And Jerry should be working on that Geller field.
So, okay. Everybody's in they're just leaping at the chance to contribute. I actually read the book, Dead Sky, Black Sun.
Yep.
That is the book that it comes from. I actually ended up, I sound like, Wes talked about this book and he convinced me to read it and I read it and he liked it. He actually walked away saying that he liked it a lot more than he thought he would. Oh. And I actually have to agree.
Yeah?
I actually enjoyed this book despite how harrowing it is.
Right.
Me and him differ wildly, though, on our interpretations of the book itself.
Okay.
We're going to do a book review of this book. That's going to come out. It's going to be one of our Christmas presents in December, which is funny. But we're going to do a book review of it because I actually think that if you can stomach it, which you can, you're a big boy, and maybe one girl that tunes in every once in a while back in the corner. You can handle it, and it's got a lot of good stuff. So we're going to avoid a lot of the story stuff for that book and save it for the book review. But there is going to be some of it. Some of the characters you're going to have to know for this.
Yeah.
But that is the sun. That is the book, Dead Sky, Black Sun.
All right. Okay. So, and in this book, we find out about this hellish process. Where do we start?
So the daemonculaba is based on a planet called Midrigold.
Okay.
Which is in the Eye of Terror. It is a demon planet, which just means it's basically hell on a planet.
Right. Yeah.
And it is under the control of the Iron Warriors. And in the book, they talk about, hint at, and suggest that it is where Perturabo rests at the time of the book.
Whoa. Just sleep among all that.
Well, I don't know that he's asleep.
Right.
He's there doing whatever he's doing. And Perturabo is, at this point, a demon Primarch.
Right.
A lot of people have some very strong feelings about that. I actually think Perturabo is next up on our Primarch list.
Ooh, yeah.
So we'll jump over that as well.
All right.
That'd be good because I don't know much about it.
Right.
Yeah,
correct.
Me neither.
So there's so the reason why I brought that up is, demon Primarchs have effects on areas all on their own, just being there. So this planet is in the Eye of Terror. It is controlled by a Chaos faction, and it's got a demon Primarch resting on it. That's why this planet sucks.
Yeah, that is a massive recipe for horrificness.
It's got humans on it.
It does. It does have humans on it.
Yeah.
Regrettably so.
Regrettably so.
Incredibly regrettably so. But anyway, we're going to center our tale around one particular Iron Warrior. His name is Hanzu. Hanzu is a warsmith, which is an official title of the Iron Warriors, basically meaning that he is basically a warlord, right? He is in charge of his own fortress, his own army. And Hanzu during the fall of Cadia, or at least around that, leading up to it in the vicinity, he was in charge of attacking a planet. And he took the planet and managed to make away with a bunch of gene seed.
Oh my gosh. Right. Yes.
It was Hydra Cordatus.
Hydra Cordatus. There we go. Yep. And with this gene seed, he needed a way to implant them into Space Marines because they don't have the technological advancements. He has Dark Mechanicum troops that work with him. They are called the
Morticians.
Savage Morticians. There we go. Yes. Yeah. And they use sorcery as well as technology, which the regular Mechanicum
definitely would not
would not.
No. Blasphemy.
And through the use of surgery and magic, they were able to use the human slaves to turn them into the daemonculaba to birth Space Marines.
Replenish those
numbers. Jipper's over here whining.
She does not like this.
No.
I don't either.
So the first steps in creating the daemonculaba is you have to take a human female. You have to use the female because they have Woo! Wombs. And the dog just about toppled my
Mic stand.
my mic stand.
Yep.
They have the wombs, and I also think it has to do with the nutritional, the way that their bodies are built for birth and things.
Right.
So they take a human female and they don't get into the exact specifics, which is fine.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
They use magic and surgery to blow the female up to enough of a bloated size to where you can stuff a fully grown, so between 7 and 8 foot tall, space marine inside of the womb and stitch it shut.
Yeah. And they don't care what it looks like. That you can't really discern the limbs like on these people. They're so bloated and stuff like that. Like it's just folds of fat. And are these people are catatonic at this point, right?
So the book is unclear.
Uh-huh.
There's a specific scene, when you first meet these things, when they're described as their eyes are closed, but they are just babbling incoherently in madness.
They snap out their vocal cords, don't
Yep,
they?
they cut out the vocal cords,
Otherwise, it would just be wailing.
screaming. But they do make references to them being demons. So
Okay.
it's, to me, I'm going to sound like a parrot here, but Wes says this as well. And again, I have to agree. It's unclear as to whether they're conscious or whether these are human bodies possessed by a demon. That's a lot. So
It could be like a possession sort of thing.
Could be.
Yeah.
and with possession in 40K, it's like a coin toss as to whether you're conscious or not. So
Yeah.
best answer is maybe.
Good old chaos.
Hopefully not.
Yeah, really, hopefully not. Man, to have your body just like distorted to the point that you could fit more than another grown person inside of it.
Yeah.
A mountain and a half, as we described it in our What is a Space Marine? The mountain from Game of Thrones.
Yep. Clegane.
Yeah, Space Marines are like 1.5 of him wide.
Yeah.
And
Like-
he's not, I don't think he's actually, I think he's like 6'4", 6'5". I don't think he breaks the 7 foot mark.
He might. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Well, it'll be right.
There we go.
But
Measurements.
he definitely doesn't break the 8 foot mark, which these guys can.
Yeah. And that's, man. Because they just force feed these people. Well, I don't know about like how they get them into it anyway. Yeah. They must force feed them, right?
No,
At
they
that point.
use, I mean, they do, but not in the way that not like food to fatten them up. It's
Right.
They use magic.
Magic. Yeah. that
They
makes sense.
do force feed them liquid nutritions and gene seed stock into their stream so that they can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they get that gene seed stock by mashing up Space Marines.
Yes. Like,
The corpses.
yep.
Yeah.
And
Mash
so
up and
what
toss
you
it.
do is you take a fleshed out Space Marine. Usually, a lot of times the book hints that they prefer to have children.
Yeah. Actually, I thought I heard that the
Yeah.
younger they are, the easier it is.
Right. So a lot of the time this is being done to kids.
And they're conscious and
Yes.
awake and being stuffed
Into this. And then they stitch you to it.
Like
And
a
then-
reverse C-section.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then they stitch it shut.
Yeah.
And then all of the fluids they pump into it then pump into you. And you'll go into this catatonic state.
Thank God.
And then
Ugh.
so what drives you into catatonic is the warm, wet surrounding feeling and the constant pulsing of being surrounded by the daemonculaba's heart. It's heart on your head.
Just beating.
Yes.
Wow. Wow.
And then all of its liquids and things are beating around you in time with the heart. So that like hypnotizes you to sleep.
Okay.
And then the fluids go inside you and
Through umbilical cords that
No.
No?
They go through your nose, your eyes, your mouth,
Oh.
all the orifices.
Jesus.
No, they don't like hook you into it. It
they
just-
don't like grow into you or anything like that. Maybe.
So maybe further along in the process, but basically you fall asleep and then you die and then it morphs you into it over time and then it spills you out as a Chaos Marine.
fully grown.
Sans your skin.
Yep. You're
Yeah.
missing skin.
No skin. And it's just days later.
Oh, Whoa.
Basically, you change so rapidly, your skin splits open and just kind of falls off.
Oh, and you emerge as this bare muscle space marine.
Yes, maybe. So there
Okay.
are these things that they call the unfleshed.
Yeah. If they have like a mutation and they can't be accepted into the Iron Warriors, they just sort of flush them in the sewer.
Oh.
So it's like a sewer combined with a food processor.
Yeah.
It's a thing they flush in the floor, but it's got whirling blades in it. But you can pass through them.
It's survivable.
It is.
Yeah.
And then you get flushed out into the waste.
And then you have two options. You either become feral, or you can become an underservant of the Iron Warriors.
Oh, wow.
I saw they had a scavenger hunter tribe outside in the wastes.
It's called the unfleshed.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the feral. That's your
that's the
feral.
feral ones?
That's your feral
Okay.
option.
Okay. So they kind of tribe up.
Yes,
Okay.
because you have rudimentary human intelligence.
Right. Jesus.
Mm.
But you don't have skin
Correct.
out there in the waste.
And like the some of the deformations you can have is you can have like, you can have your strong hand, or you have like the withered one, and then you have the really large.
This is my strong hand.
You can have your jaw can be permanently distended down to like your stomach,
Ugh.
and then it has like elongated fangs.
Good Lord.
Each one of them, though, so while you're not suitable for a space marine, it actually seems to give you a huge dump in strength, no matter what.
Because you still get that growth hormone
Right,
shit.
but
Yeah.
it's even beyond what like the Chaos Marines get.
Oh.
Like when the unfleshed attack things, they talk about them like just side swatting vehicles, just like bam, and then they so like the thing just on its side.
Oh, okay.
They flip concrete barriers like they're just nothing,
Okay.
and they don't have power armor or anything.
Wow. Okay. I was kind of picturing like just decrepit. Poor,
No,
like,
no.
Flesh Hulk.
Yeah.
When
it's a
these things show up,
flesh Hulk.
everybody just runs because you just can't take them all, and they're way too strong.
Wow. Okay.
Well, so the Iron Warriors are very industrious, though. They have a way around the
The skin problem.
skin problem.
Yeah, how do you flush
Dude.
these guys?
Yeah. How do you flesh these guys? I know.
Well, why don't
So-
you tell us?
What I got confused about earlier was they are force feeding humans.
Yes, these are slaves that either have reached their work capacity, like they can no longer work, or they are already strong enough to be able to survive the process. So it's like you're either so useless it doesn't matter if you survive,
Ah,
or if you're like you're healthy enough to be guaranteed to make it through this process.
wow. That is fucked up.
Yeah.
And they will just fatten you up. This is where the force feeding comes in, a high nutrient gruel that just gets pumped into your like pipes that they shove down your mouth and
It's like
directly in your
pure
stomach.
sugar and fat.
Yeah.
It's not meant to develop muscle or nutrition at all.
No, it
It
just
seems like it's on an industrial level too.
It
They're
is.
like
No, we're not going to show it on the screen, but if you've ever heard into the really, really, really depressing ways that human beings make foie gras,
foie gras,
which
okay.
is fatty goose liver,
oh no.
they pin the animal's head into a tilted direction and then they force feed it to fatten the liver. That's why, guys,
Wow.
foie gras is good, but they mark it very clearly on the package if it's ethically sourced, because there are humane ways to do it, but they force feed.
Right. That mass
Yep.
production sort of way is very
And this
cruel.
is the exact same shit right here.
Yeah. Ugh. So they just force feed them. The humans. We'll go back to the humans. I don't know why geese isn't worse. It's all bad.
No, I don't particularly like geese. So while I don't, like I obviously find it abhorrent, like I feel a hell of a lot less sympathy to geese than I would a human.
Yeah, that's
The only
very
thing
true.
is one's real, one's fiction.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
there's that.
Yeah. But they'll force feed them and they will get massive. Like, because then later it looks like they're wearing robes.
Yes.
So yeah, they'll fatten you up and then they'll vacuum the fat out.
Uh-huh.
And you're just left with the skin hanging.
Folds.
Yeah. It looks like you're wearing, like I said, kind of like a wizard robe, or probably more than
More
that.
that because
even.
it's got to
Yeah.
cover like a 7 to 8 foot tall fleshless human.
Yeah. And then, so once you're all vacuumed out and you've got your nice, massive amount of excess skin, they cut it off of you. And they stretch out these massive canvases of
blankets of skin.
Yeah. And that's what they use to cover up the Space Marines when they're born, fully grown and fleshless, which I wonder what that looks like. I don't want to picture it, but I imagine it's not, it doesn't like then form fit. It probably looks very like
the giant from Attack on Titan, the one that shows up without skin.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I'll bet. And then you've got the loose skin on, so then you probably look more like what's his face?
Leatherface.
Yeah.
Where the skin doesn't quite fit.
Yeah, probably doesn't fit right. I'll bet it doesn't. They don't care. I doubt they care.
No, they don't. They don't care. They don't care at all.
He's like brushing his hair.
It's like the scene from Men in Black where Edgar's like, it's just like pulls his head back. There, is that better? It's just like fuck.
And do they keep the skinned people working? Depending.
Yeah,
they
do. Iron Warriors.
Yeah.
There are very few factions out there that I would rather not fall to than the Iron Warriors.
Oh,
they are just
like, this is bad.
Yeah,
this is bad.
I bet the word bearers are worse though. No, I'm still gonna have to go with the
You'll die eventually. Yeah.
I'm still gonna have to go with the Emperor's Children. That would just be the worst. The horrible thing about the daemonculaba is the mechanicum, the savage morticians. When you read, so yeah, I'll go ahead and just a little bit of it. Like the reason why they're doing this is Hanzu has basically made a deal with them that he splits any prisoners that he gets from them. Half of them go towards breeding more Iron Warriors. The other half goes towards their experiments. Their experiments are nonsense. It's like, how much fluid can the human skull hold?
Oh.
So they have a guy strapped to a chair and they're pumping fluid into his skull while he's still alive. And it's coming out of his nose and his eyes and his ears. And they're just seeing how much it takes before it ruptures.
Whoa. But keeping him alive and awake the whole time.
Yeah. To measure his neurological response, I imagine.
Jeez.
I'm just making faces over here.
Yeah,
Jerry's a good soul, so he doesn't like him.
This is a bit more than the typical run-of-the-mill grimdarkness here. Something about this just brings it's almost too I know it's still outlandish, but it is almost too grounded. Does that make sense? Like,
no,
you don't
I don't
think
see
so?
how this is grounded at all.
I don't know. Well, grounded is probably the wrong word, but it feels too close to home somehow.
Physical,
like
visceral
you
things.
could see human beings getting put through something like this in a way that I just don't like. A Tyranid does not hold the same terror to me as like being force fed and skinned like Buffalo Bill or something.
Yeah, this is a prolonged.
Yeah,
they the way they kind of explain it in the book is you get the impression that some of those ones that have already been skinned have been there for a long time.
Yeah.
And it is just a horrible condition to be in.
Yeah.
But
it's so humiliating too while you're at it. Like, not that that's what's on your mind, but just the fact that it is just like, it's so gross and you don't get to keep any dignity with it.
None.
At all.
I mean, you think being naked is exposed.
Right. Yeah. This is just so much worse. You're distorted and then twice, like just bulging, and then you're just left to flap in the wind until they come along and skin you.
Well, so once they vacuum out the fat, they have like a particular hill that is just where they just rows and rows and rows of skin flapping in the breeze. So they actually part of me almost got the impression that they based this off of the crucifixion of Jesus, kind of the way it's described, because they make them march to this skinning hill,
right,
and
they're not transporting them,
right, and so like in one of the accounts of the crucifixion, like Jesus actually trips over his own guts and falls.
Oh yeah,
and that's where the guy comes in and helps him carry the cross. They talk about, because the Marines, the main characters of the book, are kind of witnessing this from a scouting location. and they make them march, and they're talking about how like they trip and fall over their own skins. So they're holding up their own skins, and then also the people next to them are trying to help and like holding up their.
Yeah.
And it just felt very much kind of the way they described that march to the hill felt very much like that.
Yeah.
It's rough. But the reason why I want to do a book review is there are two characters. They are not the characters. They are not the Space Marines.
Okay.
There are plenty of Space Marines in this. They are cool characters, good and bad. But there's renegades fighting on this world that are like putting up a resistance against Hanzo. Two of them are just regular ass Imperial Guardsmen.
Oh, no.
That have just toughened it the fuck out.
Yeah.
They were slaves to the Iron Warriors and they escaped.
Oh, good. Okay.
And then when these Ultramarines, the two main characters of the book, show up, they're like, you guys have been leading this guerrilla war, but we're going to go right to them and take it to them. Who's going with us? And all of the other renegades are just like, you guys are fucking dumb. And it's the two Imperial Guardsmen that nut up before any of them. And they're like, let's go. We're going back in.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
That would not have been me.
I know.
I'd be like, great, Space Marines are here. When are we leaving?
Get me off this
Get me the
planet
fuck
or
outta
kill
here.
me. 'Cause
Yeah.
I need to go.
I need one or the other. Maybe, I can't, Exterminatus? Is
Yep.
that the name of it?
Exterminatus.
Yep. Maybe an Exterminatus, just something. Whether I'm here or not.
It
I don't
wouldn't
care
work.
anymore.
I don't think it would work.
Probably not.
The
Because of the
planet-
forces of chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in the realm of chaos and it's completely saturated.
Yeah.
The reason why it's called Dead Sky Black Sun is because the sky is just like a milky white. No
Ugh.
clouds. No, it doesn't change. No nighttime, no daytime. It's just milky white with a black sun that is full and never moves.
Oh, that's eerie. That's kind of cool in a really like unsettling sort of way.
Yeah.
I'd like the sky. I think that's pretty neat.
Apparently you wouldn't because like they talk about how like if you focus on the fact that it never changes, it'll drive you mad. Remember, this is
That's fair.
This
Yeah.
is not a natural occurrence.
Right. Man, so I have so many questions about that. There's no point in asking because
There
like what about orbit? Is it orbiting when you're approaching the planet? What is it? I'll go mad myself. Never mind. I'll stop thinking about it.
Well, we'll get into a lot more of that when we do the book review because that's where it takes place.
Cool.
Um,
Okay.
Jerry, do you have any thoughts on this whole debacle?
I really hate it. Like one of the things I read was like if the daemonculaba survives having something birthed out of it, like days later they go through the process again.
Oh yeah, it's completely like
Oh, they just keep reusing them.
yeah,
Yeah, they're just there to be used for that purpose, and it sounds like infinite. Like I like you would just want to die the whole time, but they're
Yeah.
keeping you alive. And
Man, and the if you survive it. So it's like you could just they don't have like a nice easy way out. They that just bursts out.
yeah. Or
If
you
make
could be almost you could be pretty much totally absorbed into it, and then what comes out is just like this little like ball of shit. That's just what's left over
Oh.
because you were you're kind of in a way you're almost digested and reformed because the liquids break down your skin. That's why you're skinless, and then it builds you back up. But I mean, if it goes wrong, then you just come out.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. This one kind of made my stomach turn a bit.
Yeah.
Like, is it cool? But
Well,
yeah.
yeah,
It is so hard to think. I know they're fictional, but it is really hard to think of humans going through something like this. Any living thing going through like this sort of stuff. It's very disturbing. The like just endless torture. You're not allowed to die until you just give out.
yep.
Yeah.
So
It's very disturbing.
what do you think is the most horrific part of the daemonculaba? And this includes the skinning hill all the way down, right?
Yeah.
Because, like I said, the daemonculaba is not just the beast itself. It's like a whole process that they do.
Right. Yeah. It's a whole
So, Eric, what do you
infrastructure
think
built
is
around
is the worst part?
Oh. Okay, so that really depends on how conscious the daemonculaba is.
Yeah, that would.
That makes or breaks it for me because if they're aware that
And you're talking the womb part?
the
Yeah.
womb part,
Yeah.
yeah, that part is because there's no escaping it. At least the things getting put into them eventually get their frame of reference adjusted, and they're just part of the chaos now. So you know what I mean? Instead of being endlessly tortured by it. Otherwise, I'd say probably the guys that get bloated up to be skinned.
Mhm.
That's, I think, That's pretty horrific. I don't like that idea of like your own body, like you're suffering, and then when people look at you, they are disgusted because like there's, again, it's that loss of dignity, which I'm sure is the least important thing to any of these people at that point. But I hate seeing that happen to beings. It's very disturbing. Ugh.
What about you, Jerry?
I think at any point in the process, especially where like the people are like being
whole
marched,
goddamn thing.
where they're like, anytime that they would become conscious of something that's about to happen to them, and it's just like worse than what they're already going through.
Yeah.
Like they see the skins all flapping in the wind, like strung up, and they're like already seeing their skin. They're like,
oh, that's about to happen
oh,
to me.
no.
Ugh. Yeah.
Or like if the daemonculaba is being transformed into that, and they're like, oh no.
Well, think about it. So the Iron Warriors that are marching you out to the skinning hill, they're probably wearing the skins.
Yeah.
So,
they're right. Fucks. So you just know, going in, and you're right. At any given point, like looking at it because it never gets better.
No.
The only way it gets better is if you die. And at that point, you're probably already going to chaos.
Yeah, I was going to say, but you're already in the warp. Like, so unless you are like a devout worshiper of the Emperor, which we all here are. So,
Of course.
Right.
Yeah. Emperor be praised.
Absolutely. You're fucked. For me, it's got to be once you're stitched and stuffed inside and it's got to be that moment where you experience it from your character's point of view of him slipping. It's when he's trying to fight, but he's getting drowsy because he can't hear anything in his head but the sound of that heartbeat, and he can feel all of the liquids like rushing into all the different places. And he's struggling, but it's just getting heavier and sleepier, and that heartbeat's getting louder.
Jesus.
That would be the worst part for me, that struggle that you're losing. And there's just something kind of wrenching to me in that. Oh no, it's just more comfortable if I let go. No, this is that part of you that's like, no, this is, you know what? This is okay.
Yeah. No, I get you. Ugh. That's horrific. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's just so invasive. Maybe that's the word I was looking for earlier.
That's a good word. That's a good word for
process.
It. Yeah. It is invasive. It's all shit.
Yeah. Like there's just something because I imagine you're not getting thrown into these things with clothes on either.
No, so the guy, the Ultramarine they do it to, they cut him out of his armor, and they do it so like haphazardly. Like they actually like put several gouges in his skin, and then they drag him over to it naked, and just toss him in and stitch him down. They want the liquid to go into all of the orifices, so they
all your pores and all of the orifices. No. It's just so gross.
It's goopy and gushy, that's for sure.
Goopy and gushy. Do they
go ahead and ask?
Do they talk about the daemonculaba outside of that story?
No, Dead Sky Black Sun is the only appearance of the daemonculaba in 40K. Hanzu, spoiler for the book, he makes it out of that. I think. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, damn it. I think he should be stuffed into one of those things himself.
It's rough.
Yeah. Good Lord. Because, I'm wondering if like they just didn't have a need to explore that part of the world anymore, or if they decided that was plenty and wouldn't go into it more.
I'm not sure. That's a good question.
Yeah. I know it's kind of a meta question, but.
Oh, well, definitely.
Yeah.
There is the horrific explanation that no, they don't, because they found an even better way of doing it.
Oh.
Because, the Iron Warriors are all about developing a problem solving.
Okay.
They're like the evil versions of the Imperial Fists. They're siege warfare, so they're all about calculations and...
Okay, efficiency and stuff like that.
Yeah. So they've actually probably refined the process since then.
Well, I don't like the sound of that one bit.
Actually, I kind of do, because I think the less steps they have, probably the better.
Yeah, they're less horrific.
Like, we no longer have to skin people. I'm like, well, that's...
I bet they added more steps.
They probably
I'll
did.
bet you're right. That's kind of what I was thinking. Jerry just has looked so disgusted this whole episode. / shocked.
I want to go home.
Now, there are... What's even worse on top of everything else is there are other ways for Chaos Marines to recruit this did not have to be it. It's not it. It doesn't have to be this way.
No, but I mean,
Yeah, you can corrupt other space marines. I think you can harvest gene seed from other from loyalists.
yeah, but you still need the surgical aspects to get the bodies like
and that is what necessitated this, isn't it? They didn't have a way to put the gene seed into
the
people,
bodies, right?
They
don't have the
Damn.
the stations and the technology built up that the Imperium does to the facilities to do this. So they have to find back doorways.
Yeah.
Iron fists or
I believe it was the Iron Fist. Don't quote me on that because it's not in the book, but I trying to remember from like my Fall of Cadia stuff. Let me check. Hydrocordatus. Imperial Fists.
oh cool.
Indeed.
Imperial Fist. Nice.
So yeah, that's Imperial Fist. That's pretty valuable gene seed. That's not even a successor chapter. That's just one of the straight up OGs. So,
Wow.
So that's way more stable.
Jeez. So I wonder what's more because there's a high value on gene seed, right?
Oh, yes.
The Imperium wouldn't be interested in gene seed once it became once it got into the hands of Chaos Legions.
Only
right,
to
at that
destroy
point.
it.
Just to destroy it. Okay. Yeah, that was going to be my question. Like, what do you do in this case? Like, how valuable is it compared to how important it is to destroy this?
It's way more.
infrastructure?
It's extremely valuable, but it is more valuable to Chaos than it is to the Imperium, just because the Imperium does have more access to gene seed and more pure gene seed than Chaos does.
Right. Okay.
Which is the big. There's two big plots in the book. One is the Ultramarines that I mentioned. The other one is Hanzu being embroiled in a massive civil war between him and another Iron Warrior faction
Oh,
over
okay.
this gene seed.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Jesus.
This is what he does with it.
It's from the book, but there's a really cool moment where they're like Hanzu and the other guy whose name starts with an A. Anyway, he demands that Hanzu, he's like, listen, we share, which I don't know where the fuck he's getting that from. He's trying to sell him on this idea that we're all Iron Warriors and that what's yours is mine and what's mine is yours. And so since you have the gene seed, you should share it with me. And so Hanzu, he's like, all right, you know what? I thought this would be what you would want. So he brings him over like a storage, like one of those cryo storage containers. He's like, I've already divided up the amount of gene seed that I'm willing to give. No more, no less. So I don't want to haggle over it. Take this and go. So they take the box, they open up, and it doesn't have shit in it. He's like, so get the fuck out of here.
Oh my gosh. What a boss thing to do. That's good. I like that.
And I mean, the nerve of this other guy, this other Iron Warrior, to try to negotiate with Hanzu, because he hates Hanzu and repeatedly insults the shit out of him. And like, it's like, you should not have been a warsmith to start with. It's only it's like, and you think he's going to give you this highly valuable thing? I tell you to go fuck yourself too.
Yeah. No kidding.
But just the fact that he like went through all the steps
the
of
container.
yeah.
just an elaborate diss.
Oh, so good. I love those elaborate diss. That's a good word for it. Oh, nice.
So I actually, as horrible as Hanzu is, that's the first time you meet him too in the book.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, I actually kind of like this guy.
Yeah. They get you to respect him a little bit before you learn
and they also show him making like mistakes that you could see where you would make. Like they're kind of funny mistakes. Like he's standing out on the wall, like looking over this as this battle is happening, and he has this demon bodyguard who's standing back behind him. He's like, I wouldn't stand there. He's like, they can reach this. And Hanzu's like, yeah, but they ain't got the balls to shoot up here. And as soon as he says that, he like takes a round and almost goes completely falling into the battle. And the guy who's supposed to be his bodyguard is just like, man, I told you not to stand there. Hanzu's like, shut up.
That's great. Hubris.
Yeah, so like as bad as Hanzu is, I actually really like villains.
Yeah.
They can do the most horrific shit, and as long as they're well written and there's something to like about them, I'm like, they did this horrible thing. I'm like, I don't fucking care.
Right.
Well, they're still good characters.
It's what villains are supposed to be.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I think the art of enjoying a villain has been lost.
Right.
So I walked away really liking Hanzu, even though I shouldn't.
I mean, yeah, you do like Mick from Wolf
Creek, who is as redeemable as it gets.
Man, like I can't stand that guy just because of how disturbing he is. I'm just like, he is just so disturbing. So disturbing. Have you ever seen Wolf Creek?
Mm.
No?
No. I have both of those books because there are books, and to date, only one person in our entire group has read them, and it ain't Bailey.
No.
She couldn't get through the first one.
Yep.
They're rough. They're expensive now, but they're rough.
Wow.
Anyway, I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up.
Okay.
This was the Daemonculaba. This is our inaugural Cultober episode.
Yes.
It is by no means our last one. We have another one coming up.
We do. We will be covering the timeline of Lovecraftian lore.
Yes, we are going to attempt. So listen, I say this, but as we dig into it, expect it to be slightly adjusted depending on what we find.
Right.
This topic is a lot. It's confusing. It's not all done by H.P. Lovecraft. So,
right.
Which
was his intention.
Absolutely.
It was
that's
always
why we're
public domain works.
Yes, that's why we're doing it this way. He wanted people to contribute to it.
Hey guys, Future Eric here, cutting in just one more time. Once again, technical difficulties during the recording, shoddy Geller field, and excessive warp turbulence and all that. Should be fine now, I hope. The thought that Ben was about to get into here that we kind of lose in the recording is that the aim of the Lovecraft episode is to provide a sense of scale, to give us that scope of what that whole mythos and lore entails. And so, there you go.
Our place on this little speck.
Right.
Yeah. So look forward to that coming up. That's going to be our second Cultober episode for Cult of Lore.
For Cult of Lore. Cultober is vast and wide.
Yes. It's Cult Talk Net wide, and we've pretty much filled up the entire month with...
You've seen the commercials by now.
Absolutely.
You've heard all the pre-rolls.
Yep.
You know what it is.
Yeah. So
we're well into it at this point.
Absolutely. So please do enjoy. It was a lot of fun putting it together.
We're daemoncula deep.
Oh.
All the way in there.
Oh. So, find us anywhere you listen to podcasts. Check out, just type in @CultTalkNet into Google and you'll find all the, Cult Talk Net things.
Yep.
Pull it together.
Breathe through your nose, not your mouth.
Oh, it stinks in here.
Put your head between your knees.
They have
a T-Rex.
We have a link tree that is a good hub for finding all of the Cult Talk Net related things. We have several sister shows now. Cult of Campbell, where we talk about Bruce Campbell, and
Cult Talks Conspiracy.
Hosted by Ty and Bailey, where they talk about all sorts of cool conspiracies and UFOs and some very spooky things this month. Werewolves being one of them,
with some guest stars.
Yeah, so if if you want to check that out, that might be a good one to hear some really handsome fellas joining those too.
Bailey.
Yeah. Merchandise. We have merchandise. I'm sure there's cool Cultober merchandise, but there's also like Cult of Lore stuff and Cult of Campbell stuff. There's a really neat, a funny Campbell mug. If you look at it, you'll know why it's kind of silly.
Cult of Lore, the flamethrower.
Ooh, yeah.
The kids love that one.
They do. Yes. I think I've plugged the things. That's all the things. Yep. Like, subscribe, share. Reviews are cool. Especially this time of year would be really neat and really fun. Hope, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for listening to your support. Even if you have done none of the other things except for listen to us, that helps us immensely.
It does, but don't be a lazy ass. Like, thumbs up, hit the bell notification and put that to all, because for some reason personalized is just terrible.
Oh, really?
It doesn't. So like personalized. One of the things that it does is it doesn't show you videos from that channel. It only shows you specific videos from that channel that it thinks you're interested in. So you'll get like one episode from that channel out of 4. It's like, oh, you're only interested in this one. It's like, yeah, but I like the whole channel.
Wow. Okay.
So don't do that. Always select to all, because YouTube sucks dick.
Yeah. Or just check if you haven't heard, if you did personalize it and haven't heard from us in a few months, we have definitely put shit out, especially on our YouTube channel.
Right.
So, that.
Leave us some reviews on the podcast stuff as well.
Yeah.
Not just YouTube.
Right.
Yeah. Do those things because we need it.
Yeah.
It costs you nothing.
And it helps us more than you could possibly imagine.
Yes.
So
to do that
for the algorithm.
Yeah. Even we have people that just leave a comment that says for the algorithm, and you know what? Thank you.
Absolutely. Love it.
Yes.
Just keep doing it, even if that's all you want to say.
Gracias.
Yes. Gracias. Emperor be praised.
Being with us on this first Cultober episode of Cult of Lore. I'm Ben.
I'm Eric.
You guys want to get some celery? It'll make us skinny.